for the late. I hope my screen and my audio is clear to you all. Good afternoon, all. Thank you for joining our today's webinar on getting started with design rules and constraints inside the art and designer. I'm going to focus you on how you can be able to use the design rules and create and read the design rules inside the art and designer. We are going to discuss in detail. Now, coming to our today's agenda, today we are going to discuss about the design flow of design rules in the PCB and the new document interface which was launched in the Altium Designer 21. Since Altium Designer 21, there is a document view design rule editor apart from the basic rule editor, which is very convenient to designers to create multiple rules for a single net or a net class at a time. And followed by we are discussing on the object-oriented design rules and how we can define the design rules and scoping the libraries and how we can cross probe. This is a new functionality which was available in Ultimate Designer 21 and 22, and how we can check the design rules inside the new document editor of design rules instead of running the DRC, where you can able to perform the design rule check inside the new design rule editor. And also we'll be discussing about the designing rules and violations in the today's topic. Okay, let's discuss the simplified PCB design flow. So every design starts out with the schematics to capture the design intent. Then we add a PCB design document to the project. Once the board shape has been established, it's time to set up the design rules and constraints as well as the layer stack-up. The design rules and constraints go hand in hand with designing the layer stack-up. You are probably aware that the impedance profiles are defining the layer stack, and these impedance profiles are then used to constrain the design rules. So those two steps are closely tied together and could be probably be interchanged in this diagram. From there, component placement and routing are directly driven by the design rules and constraints. The online DRC runs throughout the design process. However, it is a best practice to run a formal DRC check at the conclusion of the layout process, as some rules such as annotated net are not checked during the online DRC. After all, would not want all of you annotated to show up as a violation you face during the layout process. Designs may be saved and loaded into a new design as a starting place. Ensure you are meeting things like your fabrication assembly houses, DFM guidelines. Additionally, creation and adjustment of design rules occurs throughout the design process. When we began creating the new interface, Altium wanted to make sure that legacy design rules and constraints remain intact. Now we have the option to create and edit design rules either using the legacy PCB rules and constraints editors, a model dialog, or you can switch to a new document view to switch to the new document view, where simply click the button in the lower left corner of the model dialog. Since Altium 21, Altium has implemented a new feature where you can able to switch the rules to a document editor like layer stack up PCB designing, and it is also providing support for the legacy PCB rules and constraints. Depending upon the designer's flexibility, you can use the legacy PCB rules and constraint editor or document view editor for the defining the design rules. Now, if you look at the new editor is represented as a separate document, as you have previously seen with the improvements with the layer stack of manager and the active bomb. The document type provides more flexibility for both new developments and improvements, as well as allowing the design rules and constraints editor to remain open. While the PCB layout is in progress, not only can the editor remain open and edits made throughout the design process, but it can also be moved aside, just like of other Altium Designer file types. Not only convenient but also represent a productive enhancement as you can edit the design rules and constraints on the fly during layout. Just like other documents types, there is a properties panel where you can configure the units, apply filter for the rule visibility, and configure other properties of the document. If necessary, you can return to the legacy rule editor tool with a click of button and won't lose any data. So you can easily switch between the two editors. In Altium Designer 21 and 22, the new editor allows you to assign rules directly to design objects such as nets, polygons, components, and any other objects. Each object can then have multiple rules of different kinds assigned to it. And in this new approach simplifies the rule creation uh, while making it easier to understand the scope priority of the design rules. In the new editor, rules can be defined in two ways. Basic rules use the object-oriented widgets to create constraints without the need of using queries, and the scope and priority are calculated automatically based on the existing rules. For more complex constraints, the advanced rules use the query language to define the scope and the priority of the rules. It should also be noted that some advanced queries can be represented using basic rules by selecting an advanced query and dragging that dropping into the basic rule section. And the system automatically prioritizes it within the rule hierarchy. You can see earlier in the legacy rules and priority, we have to prioritize the design rule while routing a particular net class. But whereas in this advanced editor, where the tool will automatically prioritize the rules based on its category, and it will likely to apply to the particular net or net class while routing. Some complex queries take time to develop and can be confusing when shared with other users. So if you often use advanced queries and use these queries in designs again and again, they can be saved to a library of queries and use it as a necessary, negating the need to think your way through a complex query again and again. This method represents a real productive enhancement and takes some of the iteration out of the process of scoping your complex queries. Giving a descriptive name to the query expression allows for the quick browsing and assigning of a complex query. And the nice feature of the scopes library is added a visibility to see which query are actually in use, which queries actually use in your rule set. You're also able to import and export expressions in scope libraries to enable reuse. In the Altium, this advanced rule editor, you can able to save your libraries and scopes, and that can be used in your upcoming designs. Suppose if you know a specific design rule which should be used, like a polygon clearance for the mounting holes of the PCB, those particular rule will be common for all the designs, so that you can able to add into your library, like schematic library, PCB library, or integrate library. And in this an advanced rule editor, you can recall that at any design and it can be reused so that there is no need of remembering that rules, okay, as it's a part of the library, like symbol footprint library. One of the things the properties panel allows you to define in your cross-probe setting, cross-probe from the design rules editor, and the PCB simply right mouse click on a object such as net, polygon, or other design elements and choose cross probe. You will then switch to the PCB editor and the objects that meet the criteria of the scope will be highlighted according to the settings in the properties panel. This really helps with the creation of complex scope, as you can see directly in the PCB editor what tools applies. In this document view, we have option for cross probe. But if you select the net class and you can right click on cross probe, and in the properties panel, you can adjust the cross probe settings and you can see on which nets this particular rule is applied, can be highlighted and shown in the PCB. This is the one advanced feature available in this new editor of design rules. Now there is a lot of rules for a design which leaves plenty of rooms for mistakes. A new feature has been added that allows you to check defined rules with the click of a button. The system will find duplicate rules as well as those that apply to the same object but have different constraints and dead expressions, which are those rules that target objects not in the design. This can happen when you import your rules from previous design as a starting place for a new one. These checks are currently under evaluation, so let us know if you have any request for the new design rule checks to be performed. Can see if you are as if you are using a legacy rules and constraints editor, there you will be find it difficult to have like duplicate rules. But whereas in document editor rules check, when you click on the rules check, it will catch the any dead expressions or any unused design rules or any rules with zero values that can be caught and can be easily resolved to overcome the unnecessary TRC issues. The PCB rules and violations panel is accessible in PCB editor. Now this panel has been around for quite a while. However, Altium has allowed customers who are aware it can run individual rule checks for or run them by rule class, and the flexibility to run a DRC on only certain rules helps improve productivity, as you don't have to wait for an entire comprehensive DRC when you are only interested in violations associated with a specific rule. The new rules editor now also uh, presents visibility into rules which have current violations in the PCB document. When you identify a violation of a specific rule in the rules and constraints editor, you can use the rules and violations panel to run just that rule and identify where the violation is occurring within the PCB design. Again, providing another level of productive enhancement. Here in the new document editor, you can able to perform the rule check uh, by using the document editor. You can able to find any violations are happening, any violations are there in the PCB that can be caught in the editor itself, so that there is no need of going to DRC and running it and again coming back here. There is no need of it. You can have to run the DRC inside the advanced editor, like DRC in the PCB editor. Okay. Now let us see in action. Now I'm going to shift to the Altium. Team, if you have any questions during the presentation or during the demonstration, please type your questions in the chat. Discuss at the end of the. If the question is not relevant to this particular topic, also I'm happy to discuss with you. Yes. Now, I think this is the mini PC. This is the example project which I am using here today here to demonstrate the new document view editor, how we can create the rules by this new document view editor. Set the Untitled designer. Now it's a mini PC, and to access the design rules, Altium designer, we just go to design rules. When you go to design rules, we can see we have got PCB rules and constraints. Editor is open. We can see we have got a clearance rule for the differential pair and a clearance rule for the FPGA. You're able to see also we have if you look at the width rule, you can see a width rule for the USB and for the width rule for the power. That means okay, here you can see we have two different rules for the suppose if you look at the mini PCE differential care of 85, we have a differential pair we have applied, and in the different category we have a one more differential pair class for the splice. What is the width and what is the gap it required? Because here we have to apply in two different categories, because it is very difficult, to apply multiple rules for the same net class. You may find difficult. If you, with the help of this new document editor, you can have to apply clearance rule, width rule, and other rules, what will be applied with a single click. Now let us see how we can able to manage this multiple tools for a group of net very easily with help of this new document view tool editor, which is available from Altium Designer 21. The access is the same if you are using latest version of Altium. I will show you the build of Altium I am using. I am using latest version 22.1.2. This document view tool editor is available from Altium 21. If you are having a valid subscription, you try to update to latest version to access this new document view rule editor. Just click on the switch to document view, which will take you to a new editor, which will which will open like a PCB editor or a layer stack up. Just click on, you can see here how you can able to switch between the rules from advanced to basic. You can see a graphical representation. Just click next, and also it is asking to switch the rules from the legacy rules and constant editor to here. Just click on switch. Automatically, it is saying that 79 out of 109 rules can be migrated into the 114 basic rules. This is the message we are getting. If you click on yes, it automatically migrate all your design rules into a document editor. If you can see, we have got net class here, and we have got different pairs of categories. Net class, sorry, nets, differential pair nets, X signals, if you have any X signals, and polygon, if you have any polygons or components wise based on instrument, each sheet having component class. And if you go to the advanced rule, you can able to see the all the other rules from here. What are available, you can have to see here. If you click on the nets, if you select a particular group of nets. Suppose if you select here a clock differential pair pies, if you see here, we have a clearance rule of this much we apply for this class, width rule, and if you want to have a polygon connect style and via style, stub length, okay, all the rules what are required, see length matching rule and delay tolerance, what is the tolerance for this group of net, and differential pair. See, all these required rules we can have to apply within the scope of nets. Whereas in the legacy rules and constant data, we have to switch to different categories, and it is maybe difficult used to remember. Maybe due to oversight, you may forget to apply a specific rule. Suppose you want to have a particular clearance rule, and same way you want to have a polygon length tolerance rules you want to apply for this net. Here in this new document editor of rules, it is easily applied. If you click on this particular value, it will show the clearance rule, what is the value we have defined. You can see track to pad. We click on plus symbol if you want to add one more design rule, you can able to, by clicking this, it can able to add the design rule. You can see this is the clearance rule for this net, okay, where we have 0.3 and 0.15 is the difference. That's why it is showing the highest value. Yeah, okay, like this you can have it. If you don't want, you can able to if you look at the differential pair, we have got pi is 85. Okay, if you click on this pi is 85, also you can able to see the focusing rule applied for this particular group of net. Now, if you want to create any rule from the drop down, you can able to select the unused net class, because earlier now we don't know whether when in the rules and constant editor the drop down displays all the net classes, whereas here it will display all unused net class because we have already used available net class. This is 100 net class is been unused, so that it will display only that particular net class. Okay, so that you will get some clarity. Okay, this particular net class is still need to be applied. If you look at the nets also, you can see we have got couple of net class rules we have applied. If you click on here drop down, you'll only see unused net class. Okay, which is very helpful for the designers so that they will apply to all the net classes appropriately. There is no duplication of rules for the same net class, which will be applying in the earlier version of the EC rules and constraint legacy tool editor. And here also, as a showcase you, we can cross probe to the design rules. As I told, just select it, right click on this and cross probe. You can just click on the class, just say cross probe. When you click on the cross probe, it will highlight the particular nets where this design will get applied. You can see the this is the net class where this particular rule got applied. Just click on split vertical. If you want to highlight this class, right click and cross probe. Okay, you can easily see the net class applied for the group of nets. And in the by using this properties panel, you can able to you know control the selection of the cross probing, whether you want to select or you want to zoom, or what is the kind of thing you want to do for the other objects other than the selection. Okay, from here you can able to control it. And if you want to switch to dialog view, you can able to, by clicking this option, you can able to switch to dialog view. And if you go to X signals, you just click on this X signals and cross probe, it will automatically display the X signals section, and from here you can able to easily control it. The settings. Then now measure, and I got the polygons. You can able to see the polygon style and components, component rules you can able to see. And when you go to advanced, you can able to see the all the other rules together. You can see differential pair routing, what now rules have been applied. You can able to see here. So the basic rule. As I told, if you are having any query language, if you are using, then automatically the tool will categorize it as a advanced rule. You can see here the difference between the basic rule and the advanced rule. If you want to push this one to the basic rule, if you want to migrate this one to the advanced rule, you can able to use this option to push to the advanced rule. Suppose you want to move this to basic rule, you can able to use this option, you can able to use to basic rule. But here, in this case, we can't able to okay, like this, you can able to move to the basic rule. And also, if you want to have this particular rule to your library, just let us say example, this is a particular rule. If you click on this, it will display the query here. You can see object kind is pad and a pad name like mh star hyphen mh1. That means when we have any mounting goal there in the design, we are telling the tool we should be a direct connection to the mounting goal. That means mounting goal will be acting as a or ground for the chassis, return path for the chassis. So that if you want to have this rule to be used in all of the upcoming designs, as I told during my presentation, you can use it as a library. You can store in the library and that can be recalled in the upcoming designs. Now click export to library. Okay, then just give a meaningful name, and you want to add additional, you can able to add it, or you can able to remove it, just update it. See, when you click on update, you can see the query has been changed, and now it is showing the name what you are given in the library. You can see this is the, and also it will be seeing what is the uh, library you have used it. Okay, if you click on edit library, you can able to display the what all library is available. Or if you want to add a custom queries from here itself, by clicking on add, you can able to add your libraries. What is the library name you have given, that library name will be applied here. This way you can able to easily store your queries, and there is no need of remembering, and the tool will help you to pick the appropriate query to apply in the design. Okay, and it is very easy. If you want to shift to advanced tool, or if you want to move the advanced to basic, just right click and you can able to move to basic or advanced. If you want to cross code, you just click on cross code. It will directly highlight the where it got connected. Okay, now how we can verify any violations are there in the rules, or any unused rules, or any rules without values, or any rules, multiple duplicate rules are there, you can easily catch by using this option available in the latest advanced monitor, by using this rules and violation constraint check. If you click on check what all rules we have applied here, it will try to see if are there any errors found, are there any duplicate errors, are there any violations in the rules. It will try to figure it out. Just click on check. It will validate the all the design rules created in this advanced editor, and it will give us the violations which are related to the this rules. As you can see here, we have got some violations found. If you expand this option, like inside the message panel or DRC, where in the violations panel, the same way you can have to click on this, double click on this, it will display the what is the difference or what is a violation it found. You can see in this particular value, here is what is our rule, same object scope with different rules. If you look at here closely, the advanced rule and in the basic rule, we have see a component clearance between all and all is like this. That means horizontal is 0.254 and vertical is 0.254. And the same way, when you have a one more clearance rule for the fan, and you have mentioned for all to same. That means all unto this fan, we are mentioned 0, 0. Because of this reason, it is saying it is pointing to all, and because there are two values which is pointing to the same clearance rule. That's why tool scope the fan with different value. That means this is having some conflict with the design rules of because of the two differences which is pointing to the all and same and all and all. Okay. And if you look at the next violation, net zero expression results. That means these are all, I think in Altium, we have a provision to add the schematic rules, sorry, design rules in the schematic itself. Whereas here we have some rules which were imported from the schematic rule. But for those, that means component classes, there is no value created. There is no clearance rule applied. That's the reason it is saying zero expressions, that zero expressions. And we have got a root value error in this particular net, this particular class, USB 385 in the differential pair. It's a rule value error. If you look at the rule value error, and it is very convenient as to catch because it found any violation, it will display a text in the red. And if you closely look at here, this belongs to differential pair. You know, with this 0.1 and minimum gap, we have given 0.1. If reference to gap, it is fine. Minimum both. If you look at preferred width, preferred gap, you can see, and maximum width. Preferred width and maximum width. You can see preferred width value is more than the maximum width value. That's the reason tool flagged error for this particular design rule. If you go to this thing, it is saying some tool warnings. If you click on this particular thing, it is saying a rule warning for this particular uh, USB 85. Okay, the same. It is flagging an error for the all the classes. Okay. This way, you can able to easily run the DRC and you can able to verify whether all your design rules are properly applicable or any multiple rules of same kind added or any violations are there. You can easily find with the help of this new advanced tool editor inside the designer. This is all about the new design editor and how we can create, edit, and create the reuse the libraries by using the Altium tool editor inside the latest version of Altium Designer. Yes, we are open up for the questions. Anyone having any questions during our presentation or any questions on the demonstration, please can type your questions in the chat. Yes, team, please, anyone having any questions, please do type in your chat. Or if you are anyone finding difficulty, if you want to talk to us, I can open the mic in just ping me in the chat so that I can open the mic so that you can able to. Okay, I'm just giving you option where you can able to unmute yourself and you can talk. If anyone want to ask any query, you can unmute yourself and ask your query. I have given the microphone access to unmute yourself. Okay, team. I hope having questions. Thank you for joining our today's webinar. We'll meet you in the next webinar. Happy weekend.